Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tarek. Okay. So we'll just move to our next slide. So why do we go about this annual data collection process, and what is it? So we have 191 national societies. So it's really important we're able to have an understanding of where all our national societies are and what their contribution is to our movement overall. So as you can see, this is an incredible example of some of the insights our annual data collection can create. So you see, this is a snapshot from 1 year. And we can see that we have over 16 million volunteers worldwide, and we've also reached over 50 million people. So it's really incredible to be able to create insights like these and demonstrate how, as a global network, we're able to help so many people and have so many volunteers helping us out as well. So what types of data do we collect, right, for our annual data collection? So we really focus on 3 key sectors here. So we focus on collecting data in governance and structure. And in this section, we collect data related to how many paid staff does the National Society have, how many volunteers, the number of local units, what is the digital maturity of the National Society. In addition, we ask questions about finances and partnerships. So what is the National Society's total income, total expenditure, and as well, what links do they have with other national societies, right? And we also ask questions about humanitarian impact and reach. So how many people is the National Society reaching through their various projects? How many people are donating blood? And how many people are trained in first aid? So this gives us this incredible holistic view of the contribution, not only individually, but as a collective network here. In addition to this data, we also ask each national society to provide 3 essential documents. So an annual report, a strategic plan, and financial statements here. So an audited and unaudited financial statement. So as we mentioned, we have numerous data collection processes, right? And each of our data collection processes undergo this same standard process. But again, we'll just be focusing on our FDRS annual data collection. So first of all, we start off with the data collection. And in this section, each national society will manually input their data either in our FDRS back office platform, where they can enter their data, or they will email us in a COBO form with their data inputted, and then we can upload their data to the back office. So once the National Society has inputted their data for these 3 sections, as we previously went over, now we can move on to the data validation, the quality assurance check. And to do this, we use our FDRS validation data matrix. And this allows us to compare figures of this year's that the National Society has submitted compared to their previous years. And for example, if this year's figures for 2022 are significantly higher or lower than the previous year, we will tend to reach out to the National Society, ask them a few questions just about these figures, just to ensure it's not a mistake, or just to understand what the situation was, to explain the significant difference from this year. And once we've gone through those questions with the National Society, we can then go on to validate their data. And now the data will then be published onto our FDRS website. And this data is publicly available, just as long as this is okay with the National Society. So as you can see, so we've talked a little bit about our team, our annual data collection, the types of data we collect. And as we mentioned, we use our FDRS validation matrix to validate our data, right? So we can see to the left-hand side here, these are a number of the questions that we ask a national society. So we can see such as number of people donating blood, etc. And we see in the green here, this is just from the previous year, and in the red and the blue, this is this year. So we tend to compare the numbers against last year, but I will stop here as I will allow Tarek to dive deeper into this shortly. So I've gone a little bit over our team, what we do, our annual data collection process. So as you can see, there are a number of really great opportunities that we have here. So this annual data collection process allows us to showcase each national society's impact, right? What are they doing to contribute to the movement? In addition to that, it allows us to have business intelligence for the national societies. So we can see the contribution, but also it gives the national society an indication of how they're performing as well. And it also establishes a global standard, right, for the data collection, as we're trying to collect the same data, the same indicators from all of our national societies. Despite that, we do still have some significant challenges, such as data quality, as we are not collecting the data. So it's difficult to ensure that the data is always being collected in the correct way. In addition to that, there's often sometimes data missing, as sometimes the national societies don't have access to the data, or they don't report on the indicators that we are collecting. And lastly, it's also time consuming, not only for the national societies to collect the data, but also manually inputting the data. So our question is how can we continue to optimize our opportunities, right? But then also mitigate our challenges and continue to improve this process to be more effective and contribute to benefiting the movement. So now I'm going to pass on to my colleague Tarek to walk you through this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was so fun. Thank you, Sarah. So we just got like an idea about what's happening on FDRS in background. So that's what we really care about when collecting this kind of data. It's so important and essential data for the federation-wide and for national society themselves. So we have the three main procedures: data collecting, the data. We are not collecting just annual data for FDRS. We're already involved in monitoring and collecting data came from others, response like Ukraine war response, Turkey and Syria earthquake. We have PPP, we have unified plannings. So we already collect a lot and big amount of data using the FDRS methods. So we collect so much data. And we're really focusing and invest a lot of time on validating this data, because we want to make sure that always we have a higher quality data in our system, that anyone could later on use this data for their own work and their own public and their publishing. And we use this data for us, like using and sharing on FDRS websites, IFRC annual report, everyone count reports, and more. And we even have an open API that anyone can access the national data information and historical data like 2018 until now. But what we are focusing now in how we can adapt the data validations to develop the methodology that we use for data validation. So I will make you walk through about the data validation deep in. So we have, like, as you see new screen now, this is an example how we make a data validation for FDRS. We have an historical data for each national society. We look for this historical data, like, for example, 2022, 21, 2018, 19, and we measure this data and the variation and the differentiation between this data year per year in the same KPI. So for example, you see in your screen now, we're looking for number of volunteers covered by accident insurance. So we calculate this data and we evaluating the data between the differentiation between year to year, and to know if there's a big change, that's a flag for us. That's the red color for us. So we need to investigate more why they're that. Sometimes the National Society have a clarification for that because they have a new programs, or their program was closed, or there was a new partnership with various donors. Sometimes there's a mistake by entering this data. By using this way, we make sure that any data going to FDRS systems, it's check quality, have a very validation standards to check and to make sure that each data going to the system is correct. So how we communicate that with the National Society, how we let know the National Society that, guys, there's a problem here, we need your clarification, or you need to highlight that if there's any mistake, we can fix it. You can fix it back to your National Society. We use that by building our own tool that's called an automatic question generate. It's like in one click in our FDRS back office and in our FDRS internal work, we generate like a Word document, highlight the differentiation between the numbers that we have, and make a definition and let the National Society understand what the meaning of the KPI that we are talking about to be in the same page, because each National Society have different definition for their work or their type of beneficiary. And we let them that there's a huge difference between this number and two number. Could you please make sure? Sometimes there's clarification about that. Sometimes there's a mistake. We're happy to fix it. And we make sure that each time we have a very good and high quality data. But, so this is the FDRS validation matrix. Previously data, the variation of this data, and knowing the average of differentiation. And inside we can decide what going next in the system. But we have three key documents important here. We already collect from a National Society 3 important documents annually, like annual report, strategic plan, and financial statement. Sometimes this document like 15 pages, 18 pages have a lot of information, have a lot of great stories and activities, and they have a lot of insight and data, but they are showing like in PDF files in unstructured way. They are just narrative way. We need to extract data from this kind of report, and we need to validate and adapt that validation with us. So supporting our FDRS validation matrix using this document, this is so essential. That's what we really want to do. And why not to generate a new insight from this document? We already have this document. We already have this awesome treasure that we need to dig in more to know exactly what the National Society great work did for the year. So how we can do this? Of course, sometimes we do it manually. We just open a PDF for annual report for some National Society. We start looking manually. We start matching the numbers between what they're mentioning on the annual report and what they are already shared with us on the FDRS. Of course, that's time consuming, and this is not in efficiency at all. You need to know the staff number, the volunteer number. You need to understand what the meaning of their cash beneficiary system program, for example. So there's a lot of work doing manually. And there's another problem. It's like translating documents. Most of the National Society share their annual report data and share their document using their native language, and actually understand all the language for all 119 National Society. It's something so difficult. And of course, each National Society has their own technical terms. Sometimes they use definition different from what FDRS use, different from other National Society to other National Society. So this is kind of challenging that we have, why we are not depending so much on the document that we already have and collect from National Society. So the solution is to use AI. And of course, when I mention AI, everyone get in mind using ChatGPT. So why not to use ChatGPT? So I will show you now a demo already recorded, how to use ChatGPT. I use Open ChatGPT and I write a question for ChatGPT. I ask him, what does FDRS stand for in the context of IFRC? Simple question, just let me know what FDRS. He gave me this answer. Context of Federation, Red Cross, it's right, but they, or the ChatGPT, say that FDRS is FDF, forecast-based financing, something is not at all right for us. That makes sense. Let's try another one. I asked him another question. What is the definition of local unit stand for FDRS? He just gave me like a different standard, like local knowledge, something is not really understanding what we ask for. And that's so normal for ChatGPT to not understand what we are talking about, because simple enough, the model of the AI is not trained with national society documents. The ChatGPT don't understand this kind of information because they don't know it at the beginning. At the same time, he don't know the definition for the local unit. He don't know because the model is the same time, he didn't understand what the context that we are talking about it. And of course, we're concerned about data privacy and data protection. We share our information and we share our data by using ChatGPT because it's an external server and server someplace. So we need a solution for that. So we need to use AI, but we cannot use ChatGPT. We need to use something similar to ChatGPT, but with our own documents with privacy in mind. So the solution is, let's build our own ChatGPT using own data while putting data privacy in number one priority for us. Recently, that's so impossible, but thanks for the open source and open source community, there's lots of tools available now. You can use it for free and open source, so safe. And at the same time, the industry, it just is evolving and they have new tools, there's a new software to make that easy, because this is the trend now. This is what the AI help us like doing the work. And this is what we really want to share with you. We make a lot of experiment and we'd love to share like this opportunity for us to share with you that you can use that in your own computer for your own document that could help you in your own work. So we try so many tools, so many models, and we decide that the best thing until now, because everything is developing so quickly, we suggest to use something called GPT for All. And it's an open source software. It's free to use. You can install it in your computer. It's so easily like you install any kind of software. How to install GPT for All? Just go to gptforall.io. That's all. You click Windows installer if you are on Windows, or you click with Mac if you are Mac, Ubuntu if you are Ubuntu, and you install it like you install any normal software. Second step is like choosing your models. This kind of model that you will need to choose any models right now, because actually in the context that we're using, there's no big difference for now for the creation of the model. So choose what fit for you, for your internet speed. And you need just to let this software know where is your data set. So in this demo, you just click on settings, you just click on local documents things, you just let them know that I want you to use this folder in my desktop or in this folder in my hard disk. I want you to extract information using only these documents. And this document is source, is not connecting to the internet, is not shared with the internet, and the ChatGPT for All is using the same methodology of ChatGPT, and the way he will understand that. So here does a demo way that you can use ChatGPT. For us, how we can use it, this is a demo that we tried before starting the session. It's recorded. What FDRS mean? After I feed in the user guide of FDRS, he just understand now in comparison with ChatGPT what he did. Or he gave me a right answer. He told me that Federation-wide Data Bank Reporting System is a repository of key national society document and data on common set of importing indicators update each year. And he explained more what's the user guide, because he really have only the user guide to read from it. So he's just focusing to understand the document that we put on it. And there is another example. I ask GPT-4o that install on my computer, what is the definition of local unit? Because there's the definition that we use with FDRS when we refer to local unit as a KPI. Of course, there's another KPI like cache, etc. So he can understand that because he's processing my own data sets, which is in my case is a user guide, FDRS. So when I ask what is the definition of local unit in FDRS, he gave me an answer, depending heavily only on the document that I share with it. It's a local unit, referred to physical subdivision or branch within an organization that coordinates and delivers services directly with its members, such as branch, section, chapters, headquarters, regional subdivisions. And he just keep going on to tell me more about how I can differentiate it, how I not, and he gave me the source of this information that he got from this kind of user's guide and the page that they use to extract this data. Let's use another example, like what is many stuff did the British Red Cross, how many stuff did the British Red Cross have for 2021? So I already filled like an annual report for British Red Cross, and I asked him how many stuff that he have. So in processing that, he just gave me the information that the British Red Cross have a total of 1,825 employees. Of course, this number should not be sure or not. It could have like, because AI is trying to predict what next word. So just put in mind that this is not a finished tools. This is not a finished way that you really can depend on it on heavily work on it. But at the same time, it's gonna work and like a first step for us. So let's back to our diagram, the 3 steps that we're talking about: data collection, data validation, and publish. So what we really want from this testing, what we really want from adapting AI for that, we just want to adding AI validation to the FDRS validation matrix. And that's mean we have another column in our validation matrix, it's showing and letting us know the data is extracted from the annual report that we have and showing to the validation matrix, and we can matching. So we have now the data that National Society entered manually using FDRS and the data that we extracted from annual reports that we already published from the National Society, and we have already previously data. So we increasing the quality of data validation that we depend on in FDRS. But just to let everyone know how ChatGPT work, or let's say how GPT-4o work, or how this kind of software work using AI. It's so simple. I will just simplify, like when we have training model that we give him like an paragraphs or words, the computer transforms this kind of words and paragraph and transform it directly as a numbers. And this numbers, it's easy to computer to understand it. It's easy to computer to work with it, to make a relationship between this number, because he representing the word and the characters with a number. And this number, when we put it like a computer, he can build a relationship. So as you see in this video, we have a sentence like, I arrive at that. So the relationship between these words in this sentence, he could predict and he could know what next on the next paragraph or the next sentence that should have. So when the AI know that he find an arrived word in my prompt or my questions, he know that it's likely that after arrive, it came at, and after at, it's likely it came that. So he know that I should came before arrived. So he can make my sentence. So that's the magic of ChatGPT or GPT-4o. But there's another extra step that's done. It's adapting the human. This is a real photo infograph share from OpenAI, is the same company who is responsible or own ChatGPT. It just tell you that the scripting that you see in your hand, it's work on 3 steps. Training the models is like what I said, making a relationship between these characters and this number. This is all things could happen on your computer and computing and using computers. The second step is hiring a human being people, real people. Tell them that this is the computer or the AI model that generate this kind of report. It's true or not. It's like I give you option A, B, C, D, then which is the best prediction? What is the best center that you want to use? What is the best next that you want me to use? So like A, B, C, D. So they're human, really human, adapt and develop and train the models and tell them that, okay, when you predict this word because it's much better. Of course, they're using like large data sets. They already train big. They choose a little of data sets, training them well and implementing that on the whole data set. And that's what we see ChatGPT to use, writing our emails, extracting information from the internet, and for our case, like using GPT for all, using our own data with our own data privacy in mind. So what next? So this kind of industry is just keeping updating and developing. And what we really care about as FDRS is we want to integrate AI with our validation metrics. So that we are looking forward to do. And we find like we have to tune the models of available model for understanding the GPT for all or ChatGPT or LLM. There's endless models now in the open source community that we can use, but we need to tune this model so he could understand directly what's our KPI mean. So next time when I ask him, what is the local unit of X national society, he can refer that local units mean subdivision, branches, headquarter, for example. So he can know what's the meaning of that, and he can look my own documents to extract the information to me. So this is what we mean by tuning our models, and we can get it like next step. We want to build our own model for humanitarian field. We already have a big data set available using an IFRC Go, using Relief Web or OCHA database, or even our FDRS database. So why we don't combine all that in one model? It could help us, like writing report for us, draft, appeals, PMR reporting. It's good efficiency our work in the field, like reporting and documenting what's happening by having a draft report. It could increase our efficiency and our accuracy by sharing the information at the right time with the right place. And just to let you know that we're still discovering, we're still testing. Our join to this innovation summit is like a call for collaboration. We're open to collaborate with you people and to share with you ideas. And we already share our API and all the information that you see, it's public. I will share the links now. And we invite you to check our open source repository. It's just a great place and great way to know about FDRS and backend, what we are doing. And yep, that's all for us. So I think this is good, very quick session to you, like warming up in the morning. So thank you for your time. So we are now open for your conversation, your discussion, your feedback. So feel free to open your cam or webcam and to share us the question, or you can use the chat box if you want. This is all the links and the information that you are looking for. So what do you think, Sarah?
Yes, so we really hope you enjoyed our presentation. And yes, feel free to shoot us some questions. I can see that there are some in the chat box. Is that right? So here's one question from Natasha.
Yep. Do we need to upload report for GPT for all to give answer? And where do we find the reports? Actually, the reports could find it like using FDRS website or your own reports. Like, for example, you have a lot of documents. So you just need to let GPT for all know where the source of this documents. And this can be done easily. After this session, we can share with you guys these slides and the presentation, and you could find step by step how to let know that GPT for all, that this is the folder. So it could be linking to your some folder on your desktop. So anyone have any question, you can use the chat box, you can open your webcam, your microphone and ask us. We're just now discussing like what we have. if you have a look, that's the main thing. That's the main concern for us. It's just like to have a local version is not connected to the internet. We don't need our document to share with the internet. So actually what they are doing is just downloading the model in my computer. And when downloading the model on the computer, I connect the internet from the computer if they want, it's totally fine. And I just let them like second step, tell them that's the source of the data and document that you will need to look for it using this model in this place. So nothing will share, it's all everything will be online. And what I'm referring to documents is like Word documents, PDF documents, text documents, any kind of text structure thing, you can use it. And the URL to download the file is just like gpt4all.io. And the other session, we were going to share that, of course, with you guys. Okay, this is very interesting. So we have a question like, which model do you suggest downloading? Actually, there's endless options of model that's developed day after day. So the kind of model, there's something is calculated to it. So the way that you know which model is best for. So some models are giving an accurate information, but they are so slow to using and running in your local computers. Some models are depending on answering the true and false questions, like polling questions. Some models are very specific and training for physical information, some for narrative data, Wikipedia, something. So what really want to do is just choose what based on you and read about the model that you try to download it. There's models extending more like they are limited for commercial use, they are open source, they are updated like 2012, 14. So there's endless options and you just need to search about it. I can share with you at the end of the sessions like some links to know what's best for you by choosing the models, but you should try it. You should spend like trying models what is suited for you depending on your situation, on kind of document that you already have.
Thank you, Tariq, for your presentation. I am hoping for new messages. I can see a new message down here somewhere.
Yes.
Regarding the AI integrated validation process, what would be your metrics validation methods for the AI models, especially for the supervised models? You can have something to say about it?
Yeah, of course. So when we want to integrate AI validation process to our own FDRS validation matrix, we really care that sometimes there's information, there's some more information, more deep information, just like showing a number. We need to have two stages. Stage number one is matching the numbers as a whole data as number, like number X equal number X depending on our database. And we try to extract more information. Sometimes there's talking about something beyond our KPI, beyond our discretion data like sex and age. So they have more information too. So we testing, we're still discovering that. And I think we have a question before that. It's the tool that you develop for tracking KPI available somewhere to see. It's very interesting and the innovation way for managing data quality. Thank you for your sharing. So I think, yeah, the validation matrix is open. That's what we work, sharing and open sourcing what already have. So we could share that later, of course.
Okay, I think he feels like he has been answered. He has answered it in the chat box saying thank you. So any other question from anybody? Questions or concerns or any inputs?
Okay, all right, great. Well, I think that's it. We will wrap it up from here. Thank you everyone for listening on in to our presentation today. Thank you, Tariq.
Thank you, and we hope you enjoy that session. We just shared that, and we have a good morning with you guys, and the people who are attending the summit. Good and have time. Go and have time with the rest of the sessions, and I invite you to check other sessions that are available on the Innovation Summit. So feel free to pack for us. This is all the contact that you share with us, that you can use it and access it. So Halima, if they don't have anything, we're ready to.
No, I don't. Just to say thank you for the presentation and for everything. So thank you both for Sarah and Tariq for sharing this. I have also learned, and I am hoping also my counterparts have learned something. If there is nobody who has anything to say, I think we are good to go. We can complete the session. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And have a good time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.